welcome. Today I'm going to make one of my favorite carrot soup recipes, and with flexible ingredients I'm going to show you how you could make it your favorite too. Here's just some of the ingredients that I will be using, but as you will see, everything is optional. You can make this to taste, and it's so easy, so delicious, so healthy. Let's go. First, I'm going to start with about 3 pounds of carrots. You can make more or less depending on how much soup you want to make. I like to have extra. It stores really well in the fridge or in the freezer for that matter. So first I'm going to just wash these carrots, and then I'm going to peel them and dice them. Now I'm just cutting the carrots into chunks. I'll cut off the end. And these chunks are just going to go into a pot of boiling water. And in they go. They'll boil for about 15-20 minutes, just until soft enough to puree. I left the carrots on the stove a few extra minutes so these larger pieces could get soft enough. The fork goes in nice and easy. That's how you want them, fork tender. Next, you can either scoop out the carrots because you want to reserve this liquid, or you can pour off the liquid into another pot. But right now it's too hot. I would wait about 10 minutes for the liquid to cool. And then the next thing we're going to do is puree them in the blender. So you want to make sure that they are cool enough to work in your blender. Or if you have an immersion blender, you can do that as well. But again, you'll have to pour off some of this liquid. There's way too much right now. While I'm waiting for the carrots to cool, I'm going to go ahead and make a little apple compote to serve with the soup. Just going to chop up some apple. I'll add some pure maple sugar and some ground allspice and cook it up on the stove. Also, to add to the soup, I'm going to make a coconut cream coulis. Use about half a can. About half a teaspoon of cardamom. It's just such a nice, different flavor, and one that's not already incorporated into the soup, so it'll really help to stand out. And then we're going to use a honey sweetener. I'm going to heat this up on the stove just so it's hot when we add it to the soup. Okay, so this is where we're at now. The apple compote is cooking just until the apples are slightly soft. The cardamom coulis is there, ready to be used. We have a pot for our soup, and we are ready to blend our carrots. You are going to control how thick the soup is by using this carrot broth. You're not going to use all of it, but you're going to add as much as you need to get a nice consistency. So we'll go ahead and add some carrots and some juice to the blender, and then we'll add some spices and set it on the stove. from here, now you have carrot soup that you can season however you want. If you wanted to make a savory soup, you could add garlic and onion, thyme, whatever seasoning you like. Me, I like a sweet soup, so I'm going to add sweeter spices. This is too thick for soup, so it does have to be thinned out. I'm going to use some of this broth, but I'm also going to add a little bit of this coconut cream. So we can call this a cream soup. Go ahead and add the rest. That's about half a can. If you use butter, this is where you would add it. To keep it vegan, I'll go ahead and just use some coconut oil. And keep in mind, without added salt from the butter, we'll add a little salt. This enhances the flavor of the carrots, really, more than anything. So after that coconut oil melts, we can check our consistency again. You can see it is just a little bit thinner from the milk. I'm going to go a little thinner and just add another ladle of carrot juice here. And I think we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and put this on simmer to bring it back up to temperature so I can serve it. And for seasonings, I have 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger. I have 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of clove, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and this is, I think, 2 teaspoons of maple sugar. So that's all the seasoning. So think like pumpkin pie spice or carrot cake. Those are the spices that I'm putting in there. The natural sweetness of the carrots will be allowed to come through. But again, to make it your favorite, maybe all you want is a dash of cinnamon. Or maybe all you want is a dash of nutmeg. Or maybe you don't want to add any spices at all. So this is how you can make this your favorite soup. Season it however you like. Every time I make it different. I like ginger out in the front, so I always use more ginger. I call this like a ginger carrot soup. So we'll go ahead and let those flavors meld, then we'll give it a taste and see what we need to tweak. See how the consistency is. I think this is fine for a cream soup. And then we'll plate it up. Tasted the carrot soup and it's delicious, just like this. But I want it to play in the kitchen, so I'm just making it a little bit more interesting. And lastly, I found some sumac berries in the cabinet. They kind of remind me of like a sour apple, so I thought it might help bring out the apple. Add a little more color to the dish. What do you know? Carrot soup a la Carolyn Eliza. Again, there is no recipe. I make it different every time. Pureed carrots with whatever seasonings you like. Heavenly. Please try this. Be healthy. Be happy.
With the 3 pounds of carrots that I made enough soup for about 6 people. There was only 2 of us, but since it stores so well and it's so delicious, you definitely want to have enough for people to come back for seconds, or to have some in your fridge or freezer. Be well.